Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Wednesday. It is Self-Care Wednesday. Self-Care Wednesday. I got the self-care ritual deck. All the things today. We're going to go back over the gratitude from Monday and Tuesday. And then I had a different idea recently for Self-Care Wednesday. I had some positive affirmations from last week. But I also wanted to share something else for Self-Care Wednesday. So after we do the Self-Care Rituals deck, I'm going to jump right in because I think positive affirmations are a very, very good thing. And since we're kind of rolling on the theme of gratitude, I thought, why not, right? Why not? So I'm going to get rolling here. Just let me clear some of this stuff out. And I know, no notes. I was on my computer. But anyways, let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. All right. Let's see what the self-care deck has for us today. I could definitely use some self-care. But remember, self-care isn't just leaning into comfort food and massages and all those other things. It's also about, tapping into your emotions, how you're feeling, how you're doing inside. That leads to these things that may make you feel tense or like you need comfort food or something along those lines. All right. So, sorry. It's weird stuff you notice when you see yourself in the camera. So, wow. Anyways. All right. Nothing's coming up. So we'll just split the deck in half and we'll go from there. That just means that everybody's probably doing it pretty okay today. So, right, like I said, we're going to do some of these self-care cards first. Then I'm going to repeat Monday and Tuesday's gratitude. Then we're going to go right into Self-Care Wednesday. So, movement. Movement is really, really good. I know, right? Like you didn't know movement was really, really good. When you're feeling lethargic, when you're feeling like blah, or if you're alone, or if, especially during lockdown, right? I think a lot of people just grew roots in the couch, but, or in whatever chair they were sitting in all that time. But movement, it can be anything. Maybe you're not a person that likes to go out running or walking or whatever. There's dance. There's, thank you, older sibling. There's dance. There's, yoga. There's all sorts of different types of movement. There are exercises everywhere. And if you struggle with mobility, or you struggle with even having the flexibility, there's a thing called chair yoga, which I just recently heard of. I'd never heard of it. Then I was scrolling through Facebook and I had liked one page one meme from a yoga place. And all of a sudden I start getting these yoga advertisements. So yay, algorithms. But in this case it worked out because I'm curious about it now. And I'm curious about it for people who have limited mobility currently. Maybe they have chronic pain. Maybe they're super plus size. Maybe, there's a lot of different reasons why. And they may just not have that flexibility, or maybe they're just feeling a little overwhelmed, right? So it's almost like a baby step for some people, but I think it's a great idea. So remember, self-care is movement, even if it is just walking around, or maybe if you have a pool, that's movement. Anything that gets your body going, that gets you moving from point A to point B, that's movement. Getting up from one side of the couch to the other side, yes, that is movement. But if you're going to do that, do it 10 times, okay? Rest for 30 seconds or rest for 10 seconds, do it 10 more times. complete a repetition on that. Oops. Sorry. I know, that was distracting me. So, number 2, sound healing. YouTube has so many different sound healings. A lot of times I try to find something that I think will resonate with everyone, but I'm just going to start leaning into these because for all intents and purposes, I really do think they come up for a reason. And these things are coming up for a reason. Movement. You can put on YouTube and just type in sound healing or crystal healing or chakra healing, and they'll come up with those. A lot of people will call it hooey or, oh my God, you're one of those or whatever. But I tell you, give it a few minutes. And, unless you're completely dead inside, you're probably going to start feeling something. And if you are dead inside, you need to listen to the whole thing. All right. Because what it does is, people laugh, but our bodies are made not just of water, but of energy. Right? I mean, there's a reason that when there's a lot of electricity in the air, you get zapped. It's a combination of you and the electricity in the air. My mom used to hate that because she would like literally do that to metal during, especially during Santa Ana's, right? That we have here, which are like just dry winds, but it really kind of ramps up the electricity. And we'd get shocked. Her and I would get shocked all the time. But it was just high energy. But sound healing, it can be very balancing, very relaxing. I used to worry that people would hear me listening to it. And then after a while, I just didn't give a shit. We all do what resonates with us. We all do the things that we believe will work for us. It may be for you, it may not be. But I say give it a shot, because I wasn't going to give it a shot, and I did. And it was life-changing in a lot of ways, because there's so many different attunements that can be done with it. I actually started out with what they call binaural beats, which are frequencies that the brain responds to. And then it turns out I had moved into sound healing, which also uses those same frequencies, but in less of a synthetic or synthesized type of way. So let's see. Look to the stars. Look to the stars. Yeah, they do have the astrological symbols in there, but again, these things don't have to be your thing. But self-care is more, like I said, than just taking care of your physical body. It's about taking care of your mental well-being. You don't have to have depression to need to take care of your mental well-being. I mean, the truth is that it's a balance. And sometimes we lose that balance and we think, oh, well, and it's good to have those, like the comfort food, not emotional eating. Okay, if you're an emotional eater, comfort food may not be the best choice for you. But going through the massages or going to, some place that makes you smile or brings you joy or makes you happy, those things too can be very, very helpful. But when we look to the stars, it can be relaxing. Maybe you're just doing nothing more than just looking to the stars. Or, if you do lean into the metaphysical, you can look into your own astrology and, go deep. And now remember, I'm not talking about reading your horoscope every day, all right? Because as far as I'm concerned, unless it is specifically tailored to you, and even if it is, that doesn't always mean those things are going to come to pass. When we look in the newspaper and we're like, oh, what's my horoscope for today? We're going to be like, doesn't match me, doesn't match me, doesn't match me. Oh my God, that is totally me. That's because they're tailored for a lot of different people. It's a general reading. Okay. It's just like when you go online and you see somebody, reading, they're giving you the readings and they're saying things. And I do these on Fridays during Oracle Fridays. They're giving you, basic guidance. And if it resonates with you, then whoa, you were guided to watch that. Now, if you're just passing it and you're saying, nah, I don't really need to see that. But, oh, wait, no, maybe they have something to say to me. If you're forcing it, then you're going to be disappointed. You cannot force these things. If it's meant for you, it will resonate. If it's not meant for you, like they say, keep checking back, right? It's like jury duty. Keep checking back. Except if you're a person who doesn't like jury duty, then you're hoping not to get picked, right? But you have to keep checking back for the news and the news that you may want to hear or need to hear when it is your time. All right. Burning bowl ritual. This is one of my favorites. So you'll notice the pen, the paper, they do have their burning bowl surrounded with crystals, but please note, it is a fire safe bowl. All right. I have a few. I have a very tiny one right over here. But please use a fire safe bowl. If you live in California, please do not do this when it is windy Or find a fire safe bowl and do it very safely in a confined space without wind. It just takes one ember to start an entire wildfire. It takes one spark, all right? Because we are so dry here right now. It's not even funny. So be careful if you do the burning bowl ritual. You could even, and don't make it big. Don't make it big. If you want to do this in your house because you want to be safe, do it somewhere safe. Make sure everything around you is doesn't have a potential to burn. Use a fire safe bowl. And keep a thing of water nearby just in case. And remember, don't just drop the water on it because you're just going to spread it. Gently put it out, all right, if you need to. But I know, I don't mean to go through that whole thing, but, if you have a barbecue, or even if it's a grill, just one of those grills with a gas thing, that could be safe too. You could just close it, throw it on the embers and close it and let it be. But burning rituals I like because it's a release. It's a way of letting go. People do use them for prayers, intentions, and manifestations to send them up, or to bury them in a safe place so that they can grow, or to bury them to keep them there if it is something negative that you're trying to get rid of. But burning bowl rituals I particularly like because they're very symbolic for me. It's about letting something go. It's about letting it's about taking all these feelings and basically giving it a different direction away from you if it's something bad, or like I said, sending up your your intentions, your wishes, your manifestations. But remember this, okay? Always use, if you're manifesting, praying, or setting an intention, always use the term this or something better. All right. And the only reason I say that is whoever you're sending these things up to, your source, they need wiggle room, because what you're asking for may not be meant for you exactly or precisely. And if, a lot of times this or something better will open the channels for you to receive what is actually meant to be yours. Okay. And you never know what you put out there doesn't mean, like, say you want this very specific house. That doesn't mean you won't get it, but it also means that house may not actually be meant for you, but a better one might be. And you also don't know that you won't end up down there or there down the road. Okay. But you have to just leave that room open and be open to all possibilities. Okay. And the last one, be still. Now I know that it's kind of funny. I decided that was the last one, but funny enough, the very first card was movement. Be still is for the people who are constantly going because they don't want to face what needs to be done. They don't want to face pain. They don't want to face grieving. They don't want to face sadness or anger or anything. So they just keep themselves busy. They keep themselves going. And they, they keep going in directions that take them away from healing. Now, I know there are just people in general who are just busy, not because they're ignoring anything. There's just a lot. There's so much going on, and they wish they could be still. They wish they could have that moment of peace. So if you're one of those people in either situation, we shower or we take baths, whichever one you're choosing, take that time. If you're alone in the car, take that time. Now, obviously in a car, you have to be a little bit more careful because you have to be aware of your surroundings. But showering is also, it's like a water ritual. You can wash the day off of you. You can wash all this negative stuff off of you. You can wash all the bullshit and crap off of you. And the wonderful thing about that is that it can be very symbolic for you, and it can give you that moment of stillness that you need. When you are completely alone for a moment, usually, unless you leave the door unlocked and 5,000 people come in and need to ask questions, you can also just set some boundaries and say, you know what, I'm going in to shower. This is my time. I just really need some time. I need a few minutes to myself. And I think that's fair to ask of anybody. If you have kids, you can use that mindfulness time when they're asleep. So I think the only things that really, really, truly could be invasive are if you have pets. And a lot of times they will just come to you because they can sense that you're hurting. They can sense your pain. And so they'll want to sit with you. For instance, I know a lot of people will think this is crazy, but I usually sleep with my door closed. All the kitties sleep with older sibling. But every so often, one of my kitties will just sit at my door like, why won't you let me in? And a lot of times it's because I don't sleep well at night. And once I get to sleep, I'd like to stay asleep. And, you know, as we all know with animals, they're like, our fur babies are like my time, not your time. But my back was hurting the other day. I'd gotten up, and I let in my kitty, and I kid you not, she literally laid and started purring right where my back was hurting. And animals have this instinct. And, you know, some people will just see them as fur with four legs, other people will see their spiritual side. And they're very in tuned. You know, it's why sometimes they're just looking at things that you can't see. And I'm not trying to push a belief on anyone, because if you just want to believe they're fur with legs, that's okay. But my fur babies are my fur babies, and I love every single one of them. And, you know, but sometimes they are also a reminder to be still. So if you need to take that time, please do not hesitate. Your body is telling you what it needs, and you have to listen, because if you do not take time for your wellness, you will have to make time. If you don't make time for your wellness, you're going to be forced to take time for your illness. All right. So let's get to the self-care part. I know that was partly the self-care part. That's self-care guidance. So, Monday's gratitude was from Marcel Proust. I think I said that right. Let us be grateful to the people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our soul blossom. So be grateful for the lovely people in your life who make you feel like you are growing, who add to your personal growth, and who bring joy to you. Okay? Tuesday, lesson number 11. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. That was from Marcus Aurelius. When you are able to focus on the beauty of life, it is like running with the stars. You know, you are allowing yourself this freedom. You know, you may not be flying literally, but you can be flying figuratively. You could be just going through life knowing that, you know what? Yeah, today isn't the greatest day, but God, look at all the beautiful things around me. And that can actually help settle you and balance you. You know, maybe not balance you completely until your mind is back where it needs to be. But it can be very, very helpful in your self-care to see all these things, not as, you know, through these gray glasses of, you know, just doom and gloom, but just with your regular eyes, see things with your heart, you know, see the beauty of life. And when you watch the stars, see yourself running with them. You know, just, you know, shoot for the moon and fall amongst the stars, right? If you miss. So, I really liked those two. Tomorrow's a longer one, but it'll be a good one. So I hope you join me tomorrow. So, sticking in the positivity area, one of the things I found I really, really liked. And instead of just think positive, there's a lot of times when we'll sit there, and I've kind of fallen into this trap myself, you know, especially when I was just coming out of the real big parts of my healing. I think there's always going to be, good morning, baby sibling. I think there's always going to be some sort of healing that we're doing in life. You know, perhaps it's possible that we're continually a work in progress for as long as we live. There will be triggers, because there's always going to be something, right? I mean, no day is perfect. But I have fallen into the trap where when I was healed, I went overboard and thought, well, I need to tell people how to heal. I got the secret. Well, the truth is, it's not a secret. It's my recipe for what worked for me. And what I realized is that what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Just like the things I see, I'll read books and I'll pick what works for me out of there, and the other things that don't resonate, they're not meant for me. But somebody may come along and pick completely different things that I did. So I realized that my recipe for helping people was actually a recipe for a disaster when it came to myself. And I had to come to the true understanding that the only person that can heal, the only person that can heal you is you. People can help guide, people can give you advice, people can do all these things. And I'm sure they're, as I did, I was always trying to come from a good place. But like I said, I realized that, it did cause strains, it did cause problems. And so I realized I needed to back off. They say this happens with people who have come out of AA. There's people who come out of AA and are just kind of like, okay, this is good. I can help people by just being there for them and listening to them and, doing what I need to do. And sometimes I think those are the more well-rounded people. But then you also have other people who come out, and I'm just going by things I've heard. Okay. I've never been in AA, but, I've heard it. I've seen it on TV shows. I've talked to people who have known people who have been in AA, and they all say that it is a real thing where you have somebody that comes out and just wants to change the world, and that's okay. But they're trying to do it by fixing everybody around them because they want and a lot of times it could be change. Maybe, yes, they have a great grasp on their sobriety, but they may not have the greatest grasp on their mental health. And a lot of times it's why, because we feel like, oh, well, I was able to change myself, but did we? If we're trying to change other people and we're trying to make them fit our mold, did we really heal mentally? Emotionally, maybe. But there might be other parts that still need healing. There might be other parts that are saying, you know what, maybe I'm not completely healed, but I'm grateful for this experience because I have a grasp on what I need to do in my life to stay in this place of sobriety or recovery from whatever it is. And I found when I was first recovering from my emotional eating, and I know people are like, seriously, you're comparing that? Believe it or not, I did the same thing when I went into my therapist's office, and it turns out that that's the day I found out that she was also a therapist who dealt with eating disorders along with CSA trauma. So I learned a lot that day about myself. I learned to stop shaming myself because emotional eating is actually an eating disorder. And I don't wear it like a badge, like, see, I told you. I wear it in the sense of pride that I've been able to move past it. The other day, I had a situation where I had to discern between comfort food and emotional eating, and it was scary and it was hard. And I realized that that I really am on the path to that healing and that recovery, that I'm still very, very planted in that word recovery from that, because I was able to take something that used to be a source of emotional, feeding as opposed to healing, but or even eating, just that emotional, like feeding that void, feeding that void. And I actually realized it was comfort food, because when I was done, I'm like, really? I used to emotionally eat this stuff all the time because I felt terrible. I felt horrible. And it was because I wasn't feeding a hole anymore. I was feeding just basically kind of a mood in a way. I wasn't sad. I wasn't happy. I was just kind of, and it's just, that's the day social media, or sibling told me to take a break from social media, because it was making me sad. It was making me so sad. And I just saw the anger, right? So what I've learned the long way around back to where I was starting, instead of just telling people to think positive, these are some things we can tell them, or these are things that we can do. Feel all your feelings so you can move through them. Okay, so again, this is the Self-Care Wednesday. Instead of just think positive, feel all your feelings so you can move through them. Number 2, embrace the full range of the human experience. Number 3, get curious as to what parts of you need healing. Number 4, release judgment and speak kindly to yourself. Number 5, be mindful of the stories you tell yourself. And number 6, give yourself permission to fully exist in every mood and season. Now people are like, seasoned. Well, sometimes people feel like their mental health is like a season. You know, maybe there's certain things. I know I have some friends that live in the UK, and they get what is called, it's funny because it spells out sad. And this usually happens around the fall and winter when, you know, it's darker a lot earlier and just more weather, right? Not as much sun. And it actually stands for seasonal affective disorder. And it can actually cause people to go into depression because, you know, maybe you love the sun, maybe you're out there, and they actually make lights for these things. In fact, I have one. A friend of mine used to have it, and when she passed away, it was given to me. So I think it was more symbolism than anything else, but I tell you, it actually works on those cloudy days. When I see, personally, I like cloudy days, but that's because we don't get many here. So it's like people who get cloudy days all the time, and then they see the sun and they're like, oh my God. So, you know, we get plenty of that here. But we don't have much weather currently in Southern California. So the season does make sense because there are some seasons who can affect people's moods. Summer always makes me sad because I don't mind the sun, but the sun hates me. I have the superpower of being affected by heat, by overheating, or I'm also, I guess, mildly allergic to the sun. I get sunstroke and heat stroke very easily, and even when I hydrate. So staying covered, I've learned the art of not caring what other people think, and I carry my umbrella now, which makes a difference. You know, so do what you need to do to take care of yourselves. Okay, don't worry if somebody thinks, oh God, she has an umbrella. Who cares, right? Parasols, get a parasol. Okay, I have one of those too, but I like my umbrella better because it has a longer stem and it's easier to carry if I know I'm going to be out for a long time. But the parasol was actually my mom's, so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, that's how we take care of ourselves. Stop worrying about what other people are going to think and just do what's best for you, you know, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. All right, or poke someone's eye out if it is a big umbrella like mine. But I hit my dad with it one day when we were sitting on a bench. I didn't mean to, but you know, I didn't realize how big it was until I sat down. So again, just one more time, and then we'll move into the positive affirmations. Instead of just think positive, ... feel all your feelings so you can move through them. Embrace the full range of the human experience. Get curious as to what parts of you need healing. Release judgment and speak kindly to yourself. Be mindful of the stories you tell yourself, and give yourself permission to fully exist in every mood and every season. All right, and I will put these in the comments. In fact, I'm going to leave them out so I remember, because I'm always saying, yeah, I'll put these in the comments, and then I completely forget. So, and then the next one, I thought it would be good to put into Self-Care Wednesday for the next however many Wednesdays, 10, I guess. Self-care positive affirmations. So self-care positive affirmations. I will also put these in the comments. You have 7 days to learn 5 of them. And you know, what I would suggest is writing these down, putting them in a box, like the one I have up here, which is actually a self-care box of, you know, things with it. I used to have like Self-Care Wednesday, pull something out of the box, see what it says. But I keep them in there in case I do need to, you know, I am struggling with that self-care, and I'm glad I reminded myself because I completely forgot. But put these in a box or a jar. Okay, maybe you have like a positive, get one of those big mason jars and just make a positive affirmation jar, or even a cookie jar. You know, positive affirmation cookie jar. You know, one that brings you joy and saying, you know what, I could really use an uplift right now. Or even people in your house. And, you know, and then just fold it up and put it back in there. But pick one and then carry that through the day. Okay, so here's number 1. There is no one better to be than myself. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who sit there and say, I hate myself. But you know what? There's no one better to be than you. my wish for people like that is that you find your healing, that you find your balance, and that you find your worth. And I know, and I'm saying this from a place of true understanding, I know that if I can find my self-worth, anybody can find their self-worth. And I say that because I've been at the bottom. I've been at the bottom many times, especially on this journey. I've hit bottom so many times on this journey that I thought, Jesus, sometimes I wish I'd never gone on this journey because I feel like I was just better off before it. But I wasn't. It's just what happens. We hit bottom, sometimes we keep digging, and then somehow we find our way out and remind ourselves exactly what our strengths are, what we are made of, and that we're awesome. You know, I walk around now not conceited saying, oh, I'm awesome. No, it's coming from a place of confidence, a place of self-love, a place of self-worth now. You know, I mean, it's in context when I use that. You know, or sometime the other day I was sitting and talking to a sibling and I said, you know, I just have to say, there are times when I really, really look at myself and the things I do and I'm like, I'm adorably charming. I don't know where that came from, but it felt good to say it. And some people will sit there and say, oh, you're conceited, or oh, you're a narcissist. You're not. You're not, because you're not pushing that on other people. You're not telling people, well, this is how you should see me. It's your personal view about yourself. It's how you see yourself. It's how you want to present yourself to the world. You know, I mean, people don't make these fun shirts for no reason. They make it because they want other people to feel that joy they feel. They want other people to know that they're lovable and that there's no one better to be than yourself. So number 2, I am enough. That's a big one. That is a huge one. That is self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-worth, all rolled up into 3 words. I am enough. And to be honest with you, I wish I'd put that as number 1, but I just copied all these 50 of these positive affirmations down off of a list from, I can't remember where I found it, guys, but it was on Pinterest. You can find everything on Pinterest. So, and I sincerely love it because I am enough really does embody that, the self-love, worth, respect, and care for yourself. So remember, when you're struggling, just those 3 words, I am enough. And if people can't see your worth, you have every right to move on or to move forward. Okay. Number 3, I get better every single day. When you are struggling, this is the one thing to remind yourself. Even if you have hit bottom and you're still digging and you can't figure out what is happening and why you can't stop, you get better every single day for the simple fact that you're questioning it now. You're not just hitting bottom and continuing to dig. You're hitting bottom, continuing to dig, and trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? And that's the difference. But a lot of times we forget to think that. We forget to note that we're thinking these things. We forget to remind ourselves that, wait, you know what? That's a new thought in my head. I didn't even think about that. The fact that I am now entertaining the idea of, how do I get past this? That's growth. That's growth. And it may take you a while to figure it out. Remember, it's okay to reach out to people. You know, it's okay. Don't be stigmatized by therapy. If you feel you need therapy, go get it. If you don't want therapy, that's your choice. They do have options online. They do have options. You know, you just Google it. Just Google it. There's support lines. There's the 800 line on my shellbellinthemoment.com. There is a there's a tab. My brain today. There's a tab specifically with all these different numbers, and I have a few for outside of the United States as well. Okay, so you'll find it there. I have an LGBTQ area that my friend put together for me, because he reminded me that, well, these people, you know, this is a group that really, really needs some time to lean into people that listen, because they really are stigmatized. So, you know, there's a section hopefully for everybody in any situation, but the suicide hotline, I know, is also on there. So just, you know, take a gander. Again, that's shellbellinthemoment.com, and it's under the it's under a help tab, and I can't remember, to be honest with you, off the top of my head what it's called, because I have neglected my site for quite some time now and I need to get back to doing it. But you'll know when you see it. All right. Number 4, I'm an amazing person. I am an amazing person. All right. If you would have asked me 2 months ago to say that to myself, it would have been an effort. But in the last couple of days, I've leaned into this. I've leaned into believing my worth, my self-love, my self-respect, and I'm growing those things. It's a daily process. It's a moment by moment process for me. But I realize each and every one of us is amazing. We bring something to the table that no one else does. And if we bring something that might seem similar, you're bringing it with your own flavor. You're bringing it with your own brand. You know, I mean, you can put 4 soda bottles on the table and they're all different companies, right? Coke, Pepsi, I don't know, store brand, which might be one of those other ones. But the point is, you know, Fanta, I don't know why that just hit my head, but it did. But all these different things, right? Orange Crush. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with the fruit sodas, but oh God, they sound really good right now too. That's a lot of sugar. But you see my point. My point is that they all bring something different to the table. And, you know, think of it that way. You are bringing your brand of whatever it is to the table that is uniquely yours. Even if it feels like it might fit in a category with a million other people, it is uniquely yours. You're putting your spin on it. You're putting your seasonings into it. So lean into it. You know, there is always something somebody's going to say that someone else will need to hear. Number 5, all of my problems have solutions. They do. I know we don't want to think that. I know we don't want to believe that, but they do. They do. We just have to stop sometimes, find that stillness that I was talking about earlier, and allow the chitter chatter in your head to go away. You know, to just kind of fall into the shadows so that, you know, you can find the answer. Think about it in those cartoons, right? Where, you know, you see those cartoons and somebody sneaks in, maybe like they just got sprayed by a skunk, right? And then all of a sudden they walk into a crowd and everybody goes, whoosh, and then they're standing there by themselves, and then that magical cartoon spotlight shines right on them. That's the same idea. Maybe not like that, okay? But my point is that's the thought you're looking for. All those people surrounding and just milling about. That's the extra chatter. And I have a lot of extra chatter in my head, I admit. But it's almost like my brain stays busy because sometimes we don't want to hear the answers that we need to hear. We want to hear the answers that we want to hear. And when that happens, the chatter just gets louder and louder and louder and louder until you stop, you're still, and you take a moment to really just kind of lean in to what the solution is. Every answer has a solution. Every problem has a solution. It's just up to us to find which one works the best for us. It's up to us to listen, even if we don't want to hear the answer. And to, you know, to really just kind of embrace it and make it fit so that, you know, we can heal, we can move forward. So that's it for Self-Care Wednesday. Tomorrow we have things to think on Thursday. Like I said, we have another long quote. I'm excited about this one. Ralph Waldo Emerson. This guy's got some pretty fantastic quotes, okay, I gotta say. But you know what? I wanted to share something really quick that I thought was very interesting. So last night I was journaling, and I have a favorite quote from Henry James that says, it's time to start living the life you've imagined. Now, I've kind of tried to live by that, and I've really tried to embrace that. And I've had this quote in my head for years and years and years. And I think I'd always kind of danced around it, you know, saying, yeah, I deserve this, I deserve that. But I didn't want to do the work to get to that point. And so last night I was journaling, and I paraphrased the quote. And I said, it's time to start living the life I've imagined. You know, basically for myself, which is paraphrasing it, of course. And what was interesting is this morning, my cousin Jeannie got me this really cool gratitude journal. You know, it was inside the Goofy purse that she bought me on one of her little secondhand storage, or she loves those. I love them too. That's where I find a lot of the stuff that I repurpose into jewelry. But she loves doing that, and it's so much fun watching her because she knows, she finds the deals. And inside the purse was this gratitude journal. And so last night I wrote that journal post, and I didn't write much. I just said, not much today. I was so tired by the time I remembered that I had the journal that I had like 4 lines. But the very last thing, like I said, I wrote was, it's time to start living the life I've imagined. Because I wanted to lean into that. I wanted to lean into being this person that I know I can be, trying to add that positivity and that love back into that world, trying to shine this light back into all the darkness that's happening, and so then I opened up my book today, and each page or each day has a quote right in the middle. The top part is for the morning, the bottom part is the evening, like, what are your goals for today, and the evening is how did it work out, basically, with little smiley faces, right? Or a smiley, and a sad face. So I never look ahead because I like to be excited and surprised by the quotes. And today's quote, it's time to start living the life you've imagined. Henry James. And I felt so validated. I felt so validated. That I was excited. I was super excited. It just felt like, excuse me. It's like someone doesn't want my message to get out today. I felt super validated. I felt like I was seen. I felt like, the higher powers were sitting there saying, hey, Shelley Marie, look, people are paying attention. And guess what? Now, the reason I got excited about this is I could have started this book any old day. But last night I journaled that paraphrased quote, that I've imagined. Live the life I've imagined. And like I said this morning, it's like Henry James validated me and said, it's time to start living the life you've imagined. I literally have that quote written on a whiteboard in my room. And I look at it every day. And today it felt like, yeah, okay, I finally made that step forward. I finally see that path before me. Live your truths. Stand strong in your beliefs. But don't push them on other people. Okay, don't push your agenda on other people. Just, if you want to bring light to this world, fill this world with your light. We tend to judge. We tend to feel like we know better than everybody else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on social media right now, on Twitter mostly, where people are just throwing barbs at each other, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm not going to say that I haven't jumped in from time to time, but now I just realize I'm just going to share my opinion, which is what Twitter is. It's everybody's opinions. But we step over the line when we start name calling. We step over the line when we start telling people, well, you're this because this is how you believe, or you're that because that's how you believe. And as a person who's always kind of sat in the center, I just see where the divide is, and how those of us who are kind of just sitting there and our heads are spinning really need to find that way to re-add that light to the darkness. We need to shine a bright light, like a like a bat signal into the sky going, oh my God, but a big old positivity signal in the sky. And people might say, oh, positivity is bullshit. But you know what? Positivity is what changes the world. When people start believing that love can be in this world, that people can coexist and even have differences, that's where change comes. That's where progress comes. And there's a lot of people fighting for change and progress, and there's a lot of people trying to hold off on it and keep it right where it's at. And that comes from fear. Change, the fear of change is exactly that. It's the fear of change, because people are afraid what might happen. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of stepping into a space that we've never been before. And that's how I used to feel like I said, when I was on that healing journey and I was going through all this bullshit, and I kept thinking, why did I start this? Why did I do this? I should have just stayed who I was. I wasn't happy as who I was, but I was comfortable there. I was comfortable. And I could have remained comfortable and stagnant in my life, or I could move forward with progress, with change, and realize that there's so much more to me than I even realized. And that's my wish for everybody, to be able to move forward and realize there's so much more to you than you realize. Remember, you can sum up your self-love, your self-care, your self-respect, your self-worth in 3 simple words. I am enough. Don't let people steal your light from you. Don't let people try to dampen your flame. Don't let people steal your spark or your sparkle, however you want to look at it. If you want to be fabulous and be all shiny with glitter, be fabulous and be shiny with glitter. It's when we stand up for who we are personally. Not what everybody else says we should be, not what everybody else says we should believe. But when we're true to our soul and we're true to our hearts, I mean truly, when you truly know what you stand for and who you are and how you want to bring people together and not drive wedges between them, that's when we need to shine our lights the strongest. Like a big old Care Bear. Okay? Seriously, like a Care Bear. Just put out your little heart lights, or your little rainbows and your, what was it, like the clovers, the love, the hearts, all those different things. That's when we need to really buckle down and remind ourselves that, hey, you know what? This is what I add to the world, and I plan on doing it no matter what anyone says. That's why I leaned into some of the self-care cards that I did today, because I am very metaphysically minded. I'm very spiritually minded. It's like I've mentioned a million times in different posts. Yes, I believe in God. And there are people out there. I saw a post today of a girl who said, I have all these gifts, but because I believe in God, I thought they were evil. I personally believe they're a gift from God. But I also believe in other deities too. I'm a polytheist. I have a lot of people at my spiritual table, and they all bring different things to my life. But like I said, God's like the chairman of the board because that's what I'm familiar with. And it's not that I'm afraid to move away from that and in that belief, but it's because I find comfort there. I also find that it kind of ties me to my mom. But he's not the God that most people think he is in my world, in my life, in my views. He's compassion. He's empathy. He's understanding, or she, however you want to look at source. And that's how I see this deity in the sky. That's where I draw, and that brings me peace. My angels, my spirit guides. So I know I kind of went in a different direction there, but I think that's my way of trying to show people that there is no one better to be than myself. And I'm not going to hide who I am anymore. I have beliefs that differ from a lot of people. I have beliefs where people will say, well, you're just trying to make things fit so that it works for you. Well, aren't we all? I mean, don't we all? Don't people lean into a book and try to make it fit their lives and their agendas? Just saying. I don't want to be judgy back. I just want to be who I know I am. You do you, I'll do me. And if something I do or say resonates with someone else, then I'm grateful for that. Because that's the whole point of the perspective. To share my perspective, to hopefully help somebody else, to give someone else that hope, to give them the bat signal that healing is possible. That, you don't have to feel defeated, even when you do feel defeated. That if you just keep living your path in your life, and you stay true and honor your course, that all the right things are going to start to happen for you. Sometimes we're going to feel like we're battling for the rest of our lives. But just remember who you are, because that's your strongest weapon. That's your shield and sword. I am enough is your shield and your sword. And if someone tries to take that power from you, walk away. That's just someone who's angry and doesn't have their own self-worth. You know, that's just someone who wants to fight, fight, fight. Because maybe they're hurting inside. Maybe they have healing they don't realize they have. That needs to be done. So stay true to yourself. Remember, there's no one better to be than myself. I am enough. I get better every single day. I'm an amazing person. All of my problems have solutions. Sorry, I had to read those. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care of yourselves today. It is Self-Care Wednesday. Do whatever you need to do to bring joy to yourself. If you need that time alone, remember, taking a bath, taking your shower, that could be some serious alone time. Going into the bathroom and just shutting the door can be your alone time. Laying in bed after your kids are asleep, that can be your alone time. We can find time, you know, even if it's just a few minutes of mindfulness, that's time. And sometimes it's what we need to do. We just need to go inward a bit, take those deep breaths, do those breathing exercises, clear the chatter, and remind ourselves that we are enough. I am enough. Okay? I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody back here tomorrow for Things to Think on Thursday. Gratitude lesson number 12 from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I will be here at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's California time. All lives are public. Anybody can watch. You can find it under Shelley Marie Lucas, or you can go to YouTube where I upload them afterwards under the Aloha Perspective with Shelley Marie Lucas. And like I said, if you follow me on Twitter under GoalieFan1973 or Shellbell's Quest, that's my mental health one, you will also see them there. All right. Have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.